Charlie McDood is synonymous with trotting racing. Charlie, when and where did it all happen?
Oh, well, it started when I was 16 down at Harold Park. I bought a horse. I paid £20 for him, and he was a square trotter. And I worked then driving a double horse wagon around Sydney, and he was no good, so I got rid of him. And Billy Pickin of now, he gave me a couple to try. I won a race here and there with him, but then I got a good mare called Kitty Foyle. I won 48 behind with her at Harold Park. We then took it to Melbourne. It was the first year night trotting in Melbourne, and I got the drives on a horse called Belgrave, who in that time he was a champion, and I won Melbourne Shag Round with him. I drove also that horse Retinue, that Mr. Cusack owned, the president of the club, and just got a few horses and came back and had a good team of horses at Granville. Good stables and good team, and the horse I got from New Zealand fell on the track and broke my leg in 4 places. And those days there was no insurance, and I had good horses. I was winning a double at Harold Park with Ski Derby, Alpaca. Duralium was a horse that fell. Martial Air, Jimmy's Master. I had a good team, and at those days, as I said, there was no insurance, and I just, when it fell, and I was in plaster for 6 months at that time, and I just naturally lost all the horses. They went to good trainers like Jimmy Caffin, Al Phillis. They just went everywhere, you know, but so that left me with nothing. And my wife was just having the first baby, so we finished up back at home at my mother's place. And I've been battling along ever since, getting old cast-offs from somebody else. And we moved to Maitland, and I bred Brother Mac.
Brother Mac, you still got him over here. He's about 20-year-old now.
He's 20-year-old. He's still big and fat like me. And we've just kicked on from there, you know, and then about 10 years ago, I was in another fall at Maitland with Brother Mac, and broke my leg again, and was 13 months before I could walk again.
Yeah, Brother Mac, you've had a lot of success with him. You won the first NBN Cup with Brother Mac.
Newcastle, yes, yeah, and he won, he just won everywhere. He was a good horse, brother. Yeah. So I've still got him over there because I, thought a lot of him, so I kept him.
Charlie, as I said, synonymous with harness racing. Now, for someone to make the transition over to thoroughbred training, how come this happened and when?
Well, I always had 7, 8 trotters in work, and at one stage I got pretty sick. I always had suffered with bad headaches and I thought that it was from the falls, that I'd had. Broke my ribs and wrists and nose and everything in them, and I just naturally thought, and I went to a few doctors, and only for Dr. Dalton at Newcastle, and he found out the trouble, and it was I've got real high blood pressure, and he told me to ease up or I wouldn't be around very much longer, because so I said, oh well. So I used to come here to Mr. White's stable in Maitland and help Jim Patterson then for a while.
Yeah, Jim's gone to Queensland.
Yeah, so when Jim moved to Queensland, Mr. White said to me, well, do you just want to work a few and, just muck about like that? So I said, oh yeah, so I used to come here every morning and we'd just use it. Mr. and Mrs. Ernst, they live opposite, they've been really good to me, and we just use it as a, there's no bosses, we just, and David comes and rides and work, and his little friend of a morning, and we've just carried on from here, and luckily struck a couple of good horses.
Well, that's right. You've only got a small team, but you've had horses like Another Tradition, Fiducia, and now you've got this mare Silver Tradition, and she's going very, very well at the moment.
Well into the straight, 300 to go, and Casimir Star the leader. In second place, Silver Tradition, Irish Flyer. Impulsive down the outside. In behind that bunch was Diversity, followed by Sunsmoke, and 2 lengths to Adanac Soap. But little Silver Tradition moving up to join Casimir Star. Impulsive moving to third with Irish Flyer, and they were followed by Sunsmoke, but Silver Tradition getting clear, and Silver Tradition too good.
Got to be a bit lucky too.
Well, as a matter of fact, you know, there's got to be something more than luck in it. Silver Tradition, you brought her back, in May? She's had 8 starts since resuming. She's won 6 of those and ran a 2nd and a 6th. So, you know, there's a little bit more than luck attached to it.
Yeah. But I think every horse is different, you know. They're like children at school. You can thump some and you can't others. You've got to kid to others, and I think these are the same. But she's just one of those naturals. She's just never been any trouble, you know, and she's just... she's got better, I think, as she's got older, hasn't she?
How long do you think she'll stay up this time?
Oh, well, she's got stronger and better. We're trying to set her for the Cameron, but Mr. White wants to let her up now, but if I do that, I couldn't get her fit again in 6-7 weeks. You know,
no, well, the furthest she's been is, what, 1250?
Yeah, that's
Cameron's 1300.
So she's got to be right at the top, hasn't she?
And the long straight will suit her?
Long straight, yeah.
You're very lucky to have young David Atkins up here to do a bit of track work for you.
Yeah, he's a real good kid, you know. And I just tell him how to work him, and he does it, and it's good to have somebody to, when they come in, say it, you know, work good or work bad or whatever, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
How many have you got in work at the moment?
Only 4.
4. Now, when you do get them and they, well, don't live up to expectations, how long do you keep them?
Sack him as soon as I can.
Why not? Well,
I don't want to get up early in the morning to work things no good.
To the straight, and Sunsmoke first to swing, about a head in front of Fiducia, 2 lengths away to Court Candle, followed by All the Lad, and Noble Star down the outside. Sunsmoke the leader, Fiducia getting to it, All the Lad on the inside. Here's Sunsmoke, Fiducia with the head in front. She's coming away, Fiducia wins.
What's the future of Charlie McDeed?
Oh, none really, just go on.
For 4 decades, these have been the only visual images associated with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Shadowy specters in black and white. That's what we saw because that's all the military and government chose to release. Now it's clear that's far from the only film record taken. After Japan's surrender, this and tens of thousands of feet of color films were shot by American combat photographers and promptly classified secret. That the footage can be broadcast even now for the first time on television 38 years later is due largely to the tenacity of one man.
It became almost a mission. It became almost a goal of my life to try and get this film released some way, in some shape or form, so people could understand that the atomic bomb was much more than just a mushroom cloud.
Herb Cézanne's decision that the public had to be informed on the effects of nuclear war was cemented before one frame of film had been exposed. It began the moment young Lieutenant Suzanne, producer-director of the combat film crew assigned to post-war Japan, first entered Nagasaki.
There was not a person to be seen anywhere. Everything was deathly silent. The valley was totally gone, but the buildings on the hills looked as if the hand of God had pushed them in one direction. I felt that if people could just see in film and clearly what this Holocaust really was that had occurred, that this was the greatest argument for peace the world would ever see.
That illusion was shattered when he was abruptly ordered back to Washington with the 79 reels of film taken at the twin blast sites. Although the films had been classified, that did not deter Suzanne from pushing for their release. The atomic ghost continued to haunt him. Sometime during the 1960s, all the Hiroshima-Nagasaki films were quietly transferred to the National Archives in Washington. Colonel McGovern agrees the films should never have been withheld from the public.
There was nothing in there that would hurt anybody because the story had already been told.
Above the poverty line.
Our union will be aiming to firstly improve the level of benefits for unemployed people, to have benefits raised to at least the poverty line, which is $106 a week. We will be seeking to have the level of unemployed benefits for under 18-year-olds raised to the adult level. Presently it's $40, which we consider grossly inadequate to live on. We will be hoping to provide some services and free entertainment for unemployed people in the Newcastle, as well as providing a general meeting place where unemployed people can drop in and meet one another to discuss their various problems and needs.
Could it be described as a lobby group? And if so, what do you think you can do that isn't being done at present?
Yes, I believe part of our work will be in lobbying. I believe that we can possibly be successful in this area in the fact that we will be collectivising as a group of unemployed people. And as far as the needs are assessed at this stage, it's usually by academics going out into the community doing surveys. By this group forming, we will have direct access to unemployed people, and we will provide a forum where they will be able to express their views and ideas.
I think that was
In the accident at Toronto, a 30-year-old woman died instantly when her small sedan and a truck collided head-on about 4 o'clock. The incident happened at a notorious spot on the main road just near the Toronto Country Club. An ambulance happened by just as the collision occurred, and the officer on board quickly called for paramedics, the fire brigade and the police rescue squad. However, nothing could be done to help the young woman. She was alone in her vehicle, which was crushed almost beyond recognition by the impact. No one else was injured in the mishap. Police have been told that in all, 4 vehicles became involved, 2 trucks and 2 cars. Traffic on what is usually a busy stretch of road at that time of night was brought to a complete standstill. But now vehicles are beginning to proceed freely past the spot.
The Commonwealth Bank University Shield final, we have James Cook Boys High School, who won it last year, and they'll be playing Dubbo South High School.
And in the Buckley Shield?
In the Buckley Shield, we have James Cook again, and they've created a record by playing in both finals, and they'll be opposed to Forbes High School.
Who have created something of a record, some massive point scoring.
Oh, Forbes High School have amassed 466 points in 7 games this year for only 40 against, and of course they're coached by Ray Montgomery, who coached the Australian schoolboys side, which contained Ian Barclay and Tony Rampling and guys like that.
Kerry, obviously there's going to be some great football. Something that I enjoy about watching school football is that they play the game as it should be played.
They really do play the game, no holding the player down, they run onto the ball. They do as they're told, and it makes top football, Mike.
Final preparations were being made for tomorrow's big day, which has attracted over 250 golfers. And as Paul Robertson explains, some of Australia's premier golfers will be attending.
Well, some of the leading golfers that are coming tomorrow, Billy Dunk, Tony Gresham, Eric Cooper is coming, and also I had phone calls from Stuart Ginn in Queensland and, you know, a host of other professionals who wanted times to play, and, you know, because of the response from the local people, I haven't been able to fit them in.
As we've seen, there's been some absolutely magnificent trophies donated.
Yeah, well, the trophies have been just astronomical. People ringing up from everywhere wanting to donate trophies, and naturally we can't give them away to all the golfers, so what we've done is started a monster raffle, you know, and it's been headed up by PGF, who's donated a set of status mark 10 golf clubs in a bag, and that'll be the main prize. And then we have 40 or 50 other trophies that will be given out on tomorrow evening.
Good evening. It's crunch time for two teams at least in the NBN Premiership in this weekend's last round. North must beat Maitland tomorrow and hope that Premiers Western Suburbs beat Curry on Sunday if they are to grab 5th spot. Should North lose or Curry win, the Bulldogs come in 5th. Outside of that interest, there is also the matter of the minor title to be determined. Maitland, who now lead, must at least, though, share that title. Lakes and Cessnock, both desperate to grab 3rd place, with its 2-chance advantage, will need to win over Waratah and South Newcastle respectively. Many people may think it would be a boil-over if North were to beat Maitland at Maitland tomorrow. I don't agree. There's little more dangerous than a North Newcastle side that's stirred up. They know how to win. They've done it more times than anyone else or any other team in this competition. This team, though, this year has been inconsistent, but they can do it. Curry have won their second scrum of the match, 3-2 North lead in the scrum department. There's a loose ball as a result, though. Maguire, a good pass, right away from Gillen, and Rod will score. He got round the rubber ball, he got round Pastner. North Blues there, trying to get it away. O'Brien got it away now to Big Johnny Farah. Turn it up to Higgins, in the daylight, Higgins. Found Egar, try. It's generally thought that Western Suburbs will beat Curry at Harker on Sunday. But the Bulldogs have got plenty of heart, and that match is far from over. The full round sees Macquarie play Central Charlestown at Lyle Peacock Oval, and Maitland play North at Maitland, of course, tomorrow. On Sunday, South play Cessnock at Townsend Oval, West play Curry at Harker Oval, and Lakes play Waratah Mayfield at Carl Oval, Belmont.
We are the 4th growing sport in Australia. The figures for the winter affiliations in New South Wales in adults, numbers close to 60,000, Lee.
In the summertime, I guess you get a few more because you then get registered footballers playing, don't you?
Exactly right. Some very famous guys too. Peter Sterling's one of the best at the game, and he's there every year, every summer.
Well, Newcastle's got a proud record in the tackle side of the game.
Yes,
and I know there's very many good players here. And the country titles, where are they held?
Kiama this year will be in November, and for a 2-day segment, and they'll come against some fine teams as well, but I expect Newcastle to really perform.
Then it goes to, what, country versus city, or...?
Yes, that eventually comes to that, but from there, Newcastle, I would hope, again, go on to the State Cup, and then go to the Gold Coast for the National Team Championships, and then we come to the city country, and then they pick the state sides, and then we're into the 8-day program in March of next year when we play the other states. And it's played in all states today, Touch. Quite frankly, it's a family sport. The girls are the most progressive of the lot in Touch, and we're into the juniors this year with the high schools around the local Newcastle area, and it's been accepted as a sport. Into the armed forces too.
Yours, Bill. Let's hit the big one. Whoa, Chichi.